Hi, I'm Chris, N9CVR. In this video, we're going to do another antenna build. So first of all, hey, it's been a while, and sorry about that. It's just kind of one of those things. I do YouTube on the side for fun, and that is not my job. I have a job, I have a life, all sorts of things. So, yeah, sometimes that all gets in the way of YouTube, and it just is what it is. The other thing is, if you hear some noise in the background, sorry about that. I am, as you can see, in the barn, and it is really hot in here. The barn is kind of one of these weird buildings that, even if it's 50 degrees out, if there has been any sun all day, it just takes all of that energy and holds it. So, yeah, it gets hot in here, so what you're hearing is a fan. So, I guess maybe third thing, if you want to go this way, you may have picked up on something in the last couple of videos. I was about to say recently. Not recently. In the past couple of videos. And that is that I'm starting to get into HF. I have a radio. You can probably guess what it is. I should probably do a video about it at some point. But I had actually recorded an unboxing, and that just had kind of failed miserably. So, yeah. But anyway, what I've been doing is getting on the air using any number of portable antenna setups. So that basically looks like you get outside. I don't have a battery yet, so I'm running an extension cord to my power supply and running the radio off of that, and then stringing up an antenna. And the whole thing takes about 30, 45 minutes to set up, tear down, it's kind of a pain. So, I'm kind of starting to look at getting a little bit more permanent of a setup installed. And this is what I came up with. This is the HFKits end-fed half-wave antenna. It is supposed to be for 40 through 10 megahertz, I believe, or 40 through 10 meter. I'm going to do some changes to it to basically make it do 80 as well. I got it from ARRL, and today we're going to build it. So come on in, I'll show you what we're going to do, and we'll go from there. All right, so here's what we've got. I'll call it a little bit of an unboxing here. Not really. I try to take it apart as little as possible when I bought it. But I ended up having to repackage a couple of things just so that I don't lose them. But for the most part, this is what you get. So you open it up. We've got the box with most of the stuff in it. I pulled a screw out just so I don't lose that. You get this nice sticker that you can put on there. We'll see if I'll do that. You get a bunch of wire, and this is supposed to be some sort of decent wire. I don't necessarily know for sure what it is. It's pretty slippery. It feels like a Teflon insulation or something like that. I'm actually going to use a different wire. And then here's your insulator. So that is what comes in the kit. Insulator can go off screen. Let me get some tools. All right, so here we go. We'll pop this open here. Oh, that's right. These screws are actually kind of cool in that, let's do this in front of you. They're kind of retained, so there's that. You get the screws, and then this is basically an O-ring that fits inside this groove here. I guess we can put that to the side. This is for the antenna wire. These guys basically help you make a loop. There's a ring terminal and then a bit of heat shrink tubing for that. We'll put that to the side. Bunch of miscellaneous hardware here. Bunch more miscellaneous hardware, and I see an SO239 in there. Oh, I also see a capacitor in there, right there. Yet more miscellaneous hardware. Guess what? Alrighty, they give you some zip ties. Enameled wire. Nice little loop ring. Toroid. Oh, one more zip tie I missed. And then this little circuit board that's really just meant to, once you've wrapped the toroid, it sits here like this, and you can hold it down. This plops into the container, enclosure, excuse me, and there you go. So, that's the parts of the kit. Let's start building. I should probably mention right off the bat, what I am building off of is, notice we never... That's a feature. It's just a little piece of a zip tie there that... I don't think I'm missing any zip tie ends. I think I just got a spare. Fair enough. Anyway, notice that nowhere in here did I get any instructions. Those... my experience was if you Google for HFKits, EFHW, EFHW being end-fed half-wave, you get something in another language. It did not look like... It looked similar enough to German, but it was not German. Possibly some Scandinavian language. I don't know. I don't know enough different languages to tell you. What I ended up having to do is search ARRL EFHW, found the kit, and there's a link to the English version of the instructions there. That's what I'm going to be using. So, first thing we want to do is we are going to want to make a top. So this is kind of important. You see how there's the whole pattern is different this way to this way. So this should be top and bottom. If I do it this way, it's going to get screwed up. So this looks to be the top. And really, the only way I figured that out is by looking at the... I suppose I could just do this, huh? Throw this over here. Give you a nice, good glare off of it. This is what I'm using for the instructions. So I'm basing that off of this picture, which is several pages in. Okay. So, that being said, step drill, this looks like for mounting the SO239. So we are going to figure out the center of this thing.
And it really looks like it's going to be a lot easier to do this in millimeters than in inches. I don't know how well that shows up for you, but it's 100 millimeters wide. Yeah, dang near on the button. So we're going to do 50. I'm just putting a little mark. And here's the other thing I'm going to do. I have a dial caliper, which this is the wrong tool for this, but I don't care. It was a cheap dial caliper. Okay, there's 50 millimeters. I'm going to kind of score it a little. Let's do that on camera. So there you can kind of catch it in the light. I've made a little mark. Then they say they want 1.5 centimeters. So we're going to do that. Someone is going to roast me in the comments for doing this, but I don't care. Let's see, 6. 7.5. That sure looks good to me. And they're doing 1.5 centimeters from the top. So same deal, I'm making that mark. And let's catch the light just right. No, you can't see it, but I did make a mark. There you can kind of see it. There it is. Now, you can use a center punch. Put a little mark there. Then we drill a 16 millimeter hole. Which, yeah, close enough. Famous last words, right? Not being the most stable because I'm trying to film this. There we go. We have ourselves a hole. Now I suppose I can do something like this and just deburr it a little. I'm going to make it a little nicer. There we go. And theoretically now, should be able to grab that SO239. Yeah, it fits. Okay. There we go. And that looks pretty much like in the picture, doesn't it? So that's good. Take my extremely blunt Sharpie. Try to make a mark. That is failing miserably. Good thing we got a center punch. Yeah. Something like. That's all right there, huh? All right, let's see what they want me to do next. They want to drill 4 fastening holes with 3.5 millimeter drill. This is going to get interesting because I only have English. It's kind of looking at a chart, hoping that it had metric, and it doesn't. So we're going to have to... Here's the other thing about the barn. I don't have internet here, so I can't really Google stuff. Which is a little annoying. 3.5, something like that. Not quite a 3/16. Yeah, we're going to go with that. That's a 5/32. Put this off to the side. Chuck in our 5/32 drill and get these 4 holes. You know what? Rather safe than sorry. I'm gonna go with 9/64. It's just a little smaller. Trying to cut slowly here. Could I be doing this on a drill press? Absolutely. Am I? Absolutely not. Why? I don't know, honestly. I don't know. Okay. Also want a 5 millimeter hole for the counter capacity connection. This is lost in translation. Basically what they're referring to is a counterpoise. So what I am debating, let's kind of look at the place where the holes are drilled are to your own liking. So here's some pictures like this. Okay, what I'm trying to figure out is, okay, this. It looks like the SO239 should go on the inside here. Something like this. And now, where would that counterpoise look nice? I kind of want to put it off to the side here. Something like this. Trying to keep it in line. Yeah, I should measure this, but it's not worth it. Actually, I don't want to do that because it's hard to show, but this corner is going to get in the way. So I think it's going to have to come over a little, which is not really what I want, but okay. Maybe right about there. Home. And they said a 5 millimeter. Let's go back to that. Doing my dirty trick here of 5 millimeters. I'm just gonna guess that's probably pretty close to a 1/4 inch. I'm gonna go 15/64. Still a little big. 7:30 seconds. We're going to drill a 7:30 seconds hole. Let's move that. Try not to empty out my entire drill index at the same time, because then I can't figure out how to put them back in where they belong. So we're going to find that hole and drill. There we are. Looks like my drill bit is getting dull. Shouldn't matter too much when I go and do this. Now, all I'm doing is I'm taking this little deburring tool. I can't get it inside very well, but I'm trying to knock off as many little plastic edges as I can. Okay, there's that. Now, on the other side, basically what we're going to do is drill, think of it as an outlet for the antenna. So basically, here's your coax feed. Let's stick this in here again. Here's your coax feed. This is your counterpoise. Top middle, we're going to have this guy, so we can attach it. And then off to the side, we're going to have the actual antenna, the half wave, I guess, the wire, the long wire. So let me get rid of this for a second. It would make sense to me to keep the strain relief. There we go. Keep that strain relief in the middle. So we're going to do that. Gonna gently make a mark. See that little mark there? Comes up on camera better than it does in real life. Now let's see. This is... How do we want to do this? If I do this... Here's the box. Does this kind of end up in the middle? Is that what they're doing here? Call it 2.2. Is this about 1.1? Yeah, it is. Okay, so that they're 1.5 centimeters that they had me drill from here is basically the middle of the finished product. So I'm going to find that 1.5 centimeters. Using the age-old BS technique. There we go. So far, I feel like this kit is a heck of a lot of mechanical construction and not much electrical. All right. See that little cross in there. So that's where we need to drill. And that's going to be a 6mm drill. And then the antenna connection, which we may as well put here. I'm kind of trying to line it up with this hole down here and this right here. And I think I got it about right. So that's going to be the 5mm. Which was this. This time, because, there we go, because this didn't cut so well, I'm actually going to start it with a smaller drill. Should have probably done that the first time. Oh well. Here we go. And I'm going to do the same pilot hole for the 6mm. There we go. There we go. And again, this is the 5mm. So then this is what we're drilling. Let's let you see that. There we go. And now let's I wanted to call this measuring, but whatever this is called, BSing. There we go. There's 6mm. Let's find the correct. Let's try a 1/4 incher. Huh? Oh, 1/4 incher is just a little too big. 15/64 it is. There we go. Now it really sounds from this these instructions, it doesn't matter where we put them. Looks like I kind of got them backward from how they did them, but they don't really care as long as everything's there. So, okay, looks like they're screwing everything together now. There's definitely some stuff lost in translation here. I'm seeing use a tan to pull the blue plastic part of the cable lug. I have no idea what they're talking about. Well, let's take a look at this. So here's this ring. It fits beautifully. And it can sit right here like this. Now, this is strictly a mechanical connection. It's going to be something like that. Let me go get a wrench because I got a feeling I'm going to need a few of them. That ought to do it. Actually, this one's the easy one. Notice these are all metric, but this is 10mm. And this is strictly a mechanical connection, so no need to worry about putting terminals or anything like that. This guy is literally just to hang the box from. So something like that. Let me just tighten it up a little more. Yeah, something like that. I believe the term is purdy. Purdy. Okay, now I'm going to guess that we use these bad boys. And now one thing I'm noticing, and it doesn't really show up on the picture here, but they're showing the blue plastic there removed. So I'm wondering if they're using a pair of pliers just to pull that off or something. Here's all my wrenches. Here's all my parts. Be back with pliers. All right. These ring terminals. Let's see if I can tear the blue plastic off. Hey, look at that. That went super easy. Okay, I was not expecting that to go as easily as it did. That's good. And then this is just going to be garbage. As the Canadians say, garbage. Okay, so now it looks like they've got this big old thing here. They do... Obviously, the ring terminal that goes like this, And then they've got some, you know what, actually? I'm just going to guess that they want, come on, there we go. This is some speculation here, but I'm guessing they want the ring terminal, then the lock washer, then the, whatever you want to call this, the enclosure, then another lock washer, and then this guy, hang on a second. Nope, there seems to, okay. They've, poorly drawn. They should show this a little better. They're doing a little different here. They're doing bolt, lock washer, ring terminal, lock washer, then I think they're doing, it looks to me like they're doing a plain washer. That whole sandwich goes like this. Then another plain washer, a split ring lock washer. So there's the toothed lock washers in there, if you can see that. And then the split lock washers on the outside. Now we do our nuts. Nuts is right. Now this one I think I need 2 hands for. Oh. Of course they did it like this. Little rant. The way American bolts work, if you have a, let's say, a 1/4 inch bolt here, the head will be, let me see if I get this right. The head will be 7/16. No, the head, this head will be 7/16, and the nut will be 3/8. It's either that or 1/2 inch and 7/16. Anyway, the head and the nut are different sizes, so you only need 1 set of wrenches. Not so, my dear Europeans, not so. So just see how well I can tighten this up with my fingers. I believe the correct way to do this is look at it and just go, yeah, she ain't going anywhere. I really don't think it will. I still feel like I'm missing a, you know what, I am missing a washer. Take the whole thing back apart. Welcome to the Chris taking a nut and bolt apart and putting it back together 15 times show. Maybe I should actually redo that intro to the show. Be like, today you'll watch me put a nut and bolt together 15 times. Yes, the same one. There we go. Now note, I'm not worrying too much about, hey, that's a crimp terminal and I'm going to have to crimp it later, because I don't want to crimp it. I'm going to solder it. There we go. Get her. She ain't going anywhere. All right, now the second jam nut goes on. There we go. Now they do just this. Somewhere in there, another ring terminal is going to go. But that's going to be for our antenna. So for now, we're just going to do this. Good enough. There we go. So that's connected. Yay. Now we get to do the other two. So again, I'm going to try to get the SO239 so that that cup is facing toward me. Make my life a little easier. It looks like that will not be difficult. Oh, I know what these are for. Okay. This. Something I would really like to do one of these days is actually live stream an antenna build, but like I said, with no internet in the barn, that's kind of a problem. Hi, my name is Capacitor. So yeah, that's not going to happen immediately, but I sure would like it to happen. All right, here's another ring terminal that I'm just going to tear the blue off of. We don't need the blue. And then all of these. To me, what makes sense here is, yeah, we're going to do a plane washer. Feed it through, and I'm going to do this on the bottom because the bottom is going to be the hardest to get to at first. Then a lock washer on the back, and then the nut. And you can't see any of what I'm doing because it's so small, but that's okay. And I'm honestly just going to do this finger tight for now. I'm going to have to come in here. I don't have a... Let's grab that. There we go. I don't have a box end wrench that small. So I'm going to have to do that with needle nose, and we'll just make it work. Oh, do not drop. Do not drop. There we go. Safe. So same thing, we're going to put that in. Now, one thing I'm a little surprised at, actually, is they're mentioning nothing about, like, doing anything to waterproof this. I don't know if it's just the hope that if you drill the right holes, it will be waterproof enough. Hopefully. I might go in with some glue and try to fix that, because I'm a little nervous of water getting in here. Let's see. This one we can just do like this, I think. Yeah. No. This one, I think I will put the ring terminal on. I may be causing myself some difficulty here, but I think, if I remember right, that capacitor needs to go between here and this hole next to it. So I'm hoping, I'm kind of trying to save myself a little bit of work here. We'll find out if I do. That's going to be tough, man. That's going to be really tough. Is the box going to close? Yeah, it'll close. Okay, well, I guess it's just going to stick out the top like that. All right, fourth and final one. Let's see if I can tighten these down a little. Wrong size screwdriver. There we go. Now I'm using the German torque spec on this, given that this is a European device. And the German torque spec, unlike a lot of German engineering, is actually pretty easy. It goes like this. Guten tight. I don't want it ridiculously tight. Nor do I want it loose. I want it guten tight. You tighten it down until it shears off, and then you back it off a quarter turn. There we go. Last one. Got to put this this little stud in the bottom. Same deal. We're going to take the ring terminal and pull the plastic off. That is a Brandon Herrera reference there. Plastic off. And now I'm just going to duplicate what I did here. So, let's see. I did lock washer, ring terminal, lock washer, enclosure. Oh, how about I put the ring terminal on the right way around? What I'm referring to is if I do this and then try to, let's let you see it. There you go. And then I try to mash it up against the enclosure here. It's not going to sit well, but if I flip it over like that, then it will. So I'm going to flip it over just like that. There we go. Yeah, right. That's how you're going to be. Okay. There we go. Then I did washer, split ring, nut. That is a technical term. Nut. A nut is, I don't know, I don't have a good answer for what that is. It's what happens when Chris has been watching too many cartoons. The G-Bus. The Shula. There we go. another nut. Then I did split ring, regular washer, thumb, I don't know, what do you call these? Butterfly nut? There you go. All right, there we go. Now I do see when I install coax, I'm going to have to install the coax first and then the counterpoise, but no, other way around, counterpoise first, then the coax, but maybe that's not a bad thing. It's not ideal, but... All right, here's the fun part. Let's get our wire out. And we're going to do this thing. Yeah. So it looks like easiest way to do that is to take the wire, which I have here, and we're going to try to straighten it. And we're going to take about 20 centimeters of it. This is not clear. Do you take 20 centimeters of it, and that looks like I take 40 centimeters, which I have here, and fold it over. And then lightly twist it. Seeing that this is a benchtop build, I will show you how I will lightly twist it. So here's what I'm going to do in my... yeah, I'm not going to finish that sentence. I was going to say this is smart, but it's not. It's smart like Homer Simpson's SMRT. Okay, I'm going to take this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. This is all wrong. Actually, let's get it into the drill first. Now they say lightly wrap. So we will lightly wrap. Here's kind of what I'm doing. Kind of locked that down. Probably destroyed my chuck, but that's okay. And now I'm going to take this and stick it through. Try to get this whole debacle in frame here. I'm going to hold it with the pliers. Then you come at them with the machine gun. Then you'll and we'll. If anybody recognizes that reference, let me know. That actually looks really nice. I don't know if it's too tightly wound, but boy, did that work well. And then here's my just little scrap piece of wire that we will throw away. Okay. So here we go. And now it's probably best to look at this. Well, we're going to have to study it for sure. Okay, Okay, so it's wrapped. And this looks like we are going to wrap this twice around the core. So, yeah, we're going to do it this way. And here I've got some extra. Okay, fine. Whatever. We're going to go one. And I'm going to try to wrap this like really nicely, actually. The tighter you can wrap it, not tightly like large windings, but the tighter around the toroid you can get it, the better. So I'm going to try to do that. So I think this is 2. There we go. I think that's 2 windings, the way I read it. Let's flip it around and see. I'm wrapping it opposite of what they're doing. Darn it. No, this is good. This is good. Okay. Sure not to twist the wire too much. I got it twisted more than they have shown, but I have seen there is a Facebook group that builds these end-fed half-wave antennas, and I have seen about this kind of wrap, so I think this is good. Wrap the double part twice around the core. So now I believe I should take this apart. It's nice seeing you. There we go. And now this is going to get fun. I got a big long wire connected to this, and we are going to sew this 12 windings, but I have, so then I have 2, I'm going to do 6 more, come around the other side and do 6. So that's what we got, and that's what we want to end up with. This is bugging me. Here, let me redo this. Okay. Part of the problem is likely my left-handedness. So let's wrap this back together. A little more. There we go. And now we're going to do it the way they show it. So here, we're going to do 1 wrap. This is a super awkward thing to film, but 2 wraps. This can just go with the rest of my garbage. There we go. And now I'm trying really hard to get that wire as close to the toroid itself as possible. 2 wraps. Now I can unwind it. And just looking at this 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I only need, oops, I didn't want to unwind it that far. So now I'm only doing 4 more wraps. So there's my 2. what I'm trying to do here is, obviously I don't want to damage the toroid. Watch me damage the toroid. Trying to get that as tight to the toroid as possible. There we go. Okay, let's do this now. 3. Try to make that look pretty. I hear a lot of people call this sewing. Kind of see why. I really do. The other thing I've seen a lot of people do is, actually, you know what? I might do this. Throw a zip tie on there. Okay, this is going to be 4. I'm going to throw a zip tie on here. This is really hard to do in front of a camera. Something like, no. Oh, darn it. There we go. There we go. So that just holds that end so I don't have to. I can cut it off later. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 coming through here. And again, I'm trying to make this look as nice as I possibly can. Six. Okay. Try to squish them up against the toroid as much as I can. Make it all look pretty as much as I can. Straighten the wire out. Make it look all nice. There we go. Something like that. There's my 6. Now it looks like it goes under this. Is now going to be a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Did I count that right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay. So that was 7. 8 coming around. 9. Hoping this gets easier as the wire gets shorter, and it's not. All right, so this is 7, 8, 9. 10. Why does this matter? Because basically what we're building here is called an auto transformer. These, here we go, these twisted wires cause an auto transformer, and you have a 2 to 14, which 14 divided by 2 is 7. and then you square that, so you get a 49. 7 times 7 is 49 to 1 transformer here. But I just forgot how many loops I've made. So let's try this again. This is 7, 8, 9, 10. 11. That one went a lot smoother. 12, right? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, we're still on 11. This one's 12. One turn every time you go through the middle of the toroid. Okay, so that's 12. Here comes 13. This is so hard to do while filming. And here comes the last, possibly most important turn. Because if you get this wrong, you will have a different balun than you think you do. 14. Try to untwist that wire. There we go. Kind of, sort of, maybe. There we go. There's our final, well, not final, but there's our balun. Now I'm just going to try to make it look pretty. Pretty is a technical term, by the way. I'm going to throw another zip tie on here to hold this end. And we're just kind of going to try to make the wires look nice. I'm going to try something. The term for this, I believe, is hold my beer and watch this. So I am going to do this very carefully with a rubber mallet in my hand because I do not want to damage the toroid. But what I'm trying to do is get all these turns to lie as close to the surface of the toroid as possible. Because when I do that, it helps efficiency. Said I was going to do it in the hand. I'm not gonna. But boy, am I being gentle here. If I were to be really, really clever, I could probably find some way to get the turns on the inside a little tighter. Dude, I don't want to risk it. I feel like this could go bad if I did that. So, okay, now we get to remove the insulation from the winding wire close to the core. Sharp knife or sandpaper. So, short answer, what we want to do now, I think we have entirely too much wire connected to the end of this, so I'm going to cut it generously over here. I'll just make it a little easier to work with. Put that little bit of wire over here. I'm going to trim these ends off of the zip ties before they drive me nuts. Still may cut them off. All right. Now we solder. Those of you who are quick on your feet may have noticed that I went QRT for a little while there. And while I did, the fan noises have intensified. It's getting warm in here. So here's what I'm going to do. I want that solder joint probably right about there, and there's that piece of plastic right there, so I'm actually going to unbend this a little bit. I'm going to try something here. There is a flame. What I'm trying to do is melt off that enamel. I've heard this can work. Yep, that takes it off. This is called Chris tries really hard to save time and ends up wasting it. Oh, really? Okay, you're going to be that way. Speaking of, people keep asking about my soldering iron. Mine is a 40 watt from Radio Shack, who don't exist anymore, which makes things kind of fun. That solder just really does not want to stick. Here we go. I think I got it. Of course, when you think you got it, it means you probably didn't. So let me go get a multimeter and double check. There's my multimeter. And now I'm just going to flatten this a little bit. Something like that. Something like this. The reason I'm doing that is so that I can use my trusty... Oh, that didn't hold one bit, man. For the life of me, I cannot get this solder to stick. All right, another QRT session later. I used a utility knife to scrape a bunch of insulation off, or I should say enamel off. And now we're going to try it again. Ha. I have no idea if this is going to show up on the camera, but I have a giant bead of solder here. There it is. And just for the life of me now, even with bare copper wire, I cannot get the solder to adhere. Try a little bit of flux. Okay, maybe that wasn't a little bit, but I don't care at this point. Try to cook it off. And force that solder to do what solder is supposed to do. Come on, man. Finally. Basically, what I got to do to get this to work is utility knife and just sit there scraping until I cannot see any enamel. Not one bit. I'm going to do this off camera, get it all straightened out, and then we'll be back. All right, well, that was a complete and utter debacle. But I got it, and if you can tell, I tinned the wires. Really, the only way I could figure out how to do this is take a utility knife and just sit there scraping until you see bare copper. I have no idea how to explain this other than this look here is not bare copper. If I sit and scrape it a bunch, first of all, you see some parts coming off. And then let's see how well I can get it. See, that end is a lot shinier. And if I rotate it, that goes away. Well, that's what I scraped off. So, yeah, that was not easy. It was not easy in any way. Anyway, on to the next thing. So, I did put that solder bead. I did test continuity. It all worked. Now it looks like we attach this guy to this guy. And I'm just kind of debating whether I should try to... It looks like they give you slots to put their own zip ties in. So I guess I'm going to cut this zip tie. Famous last thing to do here, but we're going to do it. And then instead we're going to put a zip tie in here. And get her zip tied, something like that. They show it zip tied a little differently, but zip ties don't matter. What matters is the electrical. So we're going to put another zip tie right here. Some people also call these tie wraps. I don't know that one term is more correct than the other, but there we go. There's two. Now I think I'll do what they did. And go around these like this. One. Two. Three. Getting there. You can never use enough zip ties, right? Four. I have one spare. Try to cinch these all down. And then just cut the extra. Don't cut a wire. All right, here we go. Kind of looks like that, huh? All right, now we get to do a whole bunch of fun stuff. This gets screwed in like this. And then we're going to start messing with trying to get a bunch of wires in. So I'm going to actually try to get the wires where I want them now, because otherwise it's going to be a gigantic pain. Okay, looks like these two sides go here and here. That's not going to be fun. And then this goes here. That's where all the wires go, but then there's also a capacitor. Let's screw this down. See if I regret that decision. Pretty tiny screws. That'll work. That'll work. No, it won't. There's a, oops, sorry about that. There's a little piece of, there we go, a little piece of circuit board that was stuck in there. No idea where that came from. Just kind of snugging this up gently, super gently. Because I may still want this to move. Okay, there we go. Now, I think the easiest way to do this is going to be to solder everything that's here as, you know what, screw it. We're going to do it the other way. Got to be careful here not to, when we bend the legs of the capacitor, we don't just want to bend them because that'll break it. So I'm going to switch pliers here real quick. And try to figure out how I want to do this. So I'm thinking it'll sit like this. So if I bend this in like this, that can sit there. Obviously, I want it to be shorter. Then if I take this and bend it up, do a little bit of trimming and see what happens. Apparently you want the, I think you want the capacitor legs as short as possible. So we'll do that. This guy can come in here. And then we're going to bend this. Come on. Right about here. I don't know. We're going to give something like that a shot. Nope, because that is going to short. That is going to short the capacitor. We don't want that. Let's try this direction. Make this a little shorter. Hopefully what you're getting out of this build here is that building an end-fed half-wave antenna is not trivial. There we go. Okay. I'll just bathe the whole thing in solder before it falls apart. Actually, I want to do this bottom. Do this without burning the wire. Pop it here. There we go. Good place to reach it. Ah, nuts. Just move the capacitor. There we go. Try that again. Beautiful. Acceptable. Only mildly offensive. Screw it, she'll hold. All right. Now this is a really good thing to do. I will splice this in later, but while we got it open, we should probably test it. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to finish putting it together, bring it inside, test it on a test bench. But it says it should be 1 to 1.5 or lower if you connect about a 2.5 kilo ohm resistor basically across here. So, that being said, let's put this together quick. Again, remember I had one screw in here already. It was not supposed to be that way, but I did it so I wouldn't lose parts. Screw this in. When you hit the camera, that doesn't go good. last one. And now let's put this, if I'm going to install it this way, I probably want the gap here to be on the bottom. Now all I'm going to do is feed this in here. It's not super difficult to do. And now see, I got this. If I cut it right here, I will have a little gap. So I'm going to cut it just a little long. So I've got this little piece. It's kind of a double. It does not like that one bit. So I'm going to cut this a little shorter. Do some coaxing. That's different than coaxing. And that looks like there's a gap, but there's not. The two are actually pushing on each other. That goes on the bottom, like so. Here's my box. I did something wrong. Get to the last part of the video and you can't close the box. There we go. That'll be great. Ah, I see what's going on. This should actually be mounted 90 degrees. Yep, there we go. I have no idea why they would have built this this box such that the top only goes on one way, but they did. Which also means that if I put the sticker on, it's going to be sideways, which I guess is what they show in the picture. Well, let's give her a shot. We're gonna peel a corner off. Something like that. Make sure all of the bubbles are in it. And most important part. All right, so a few days later, let's do this test here, because I've got all the time in the world, right? Excuse me. So what I've done is I have put a 2.2 kilo ohm resistor and put it across these two terminals. I think that's the way it's supposed to go. And then I've just run out to my VNA. And this is kind of what we're going to look at here. So right now the marker is at 1.5 megahertz. That is just a little bit below the 160 meter band. Problem is, if I go up to the next click, I go just a bit above the 160. Sorry, my hand's shaking here a little bit. Gotta hold the camera a little weird to do this. There we go. So the thing to look at is, at least for now, this SWR here. We're looking at 2.7. That's easily correctable with the tuner inside of my radio. That's below the 160. 2.06, again, easily correctable, right above the 160 meter band. Let's hop up to the 80 meter band. So we're going to go to, this is about the end of the 80 meter band. We're at 1.54 for an SWR. And let's, that's just a bit above the end of the 80 meter band. So 1.49, that's perfectly decent. Hey, let's throw in 60 meters just for the sake of it. Let's see what that looks like. Oops, somewhere in here, that's looking good. 40 meters. It's basically in here. That's all looking perfectly decent. Yeah, sure. Let's look at, here's the 30 meter. Basically, this is the entire 30 meter band right here. Actually, we're just a little above it, somewhere in here. So that's good. 20 meters would be 14. That's kind of the middle of the 30 or 20 meter band. That's looking good. 17. Somewhere in here. And that's still looking good. 15 meters. Let's see how far we can push this. Somewhere in here-ish. So we're still okay. For 15 meters. You know, we can even kind of pull off the 12 meter band. I wonder if we can get the 10 meter. Yeah, that's basically in here. Again, that's correctable. That's correctable. So, I don't remember my 6 meter. What is my 6 meter band? I've got these little cards that I made up that actually glow in the dark. So that's kind of cool. 50 megahertz. That's basically at the end here. That isn't going to work. So that's at least with a dummy load attached. Obviously, this graph here, this SWR plot, is going to look a lot different with an actual wire attached to it. There will be resonance points and not resonance points. But basically what I'm seeing is, let's go back to, somewhere right in here is the top of the 10 meter band. And then down here somewhere is the bottom of the 160 meter band. So yeah, this unknown is going to work just fine for pretty much all of HF except for 6 meters. Last thing to do is to throw it up on an antenna and actually do it. But that's going to be a video for another day. All right, so hopefully you found this interesting. Hopefully you found the longer format okay. Please let me know in the comments down below what you think of that. Yeah, I'm torn. I'm really torn about it, so I'd be really curious about what you think. If you liked it, hit subscribe or the like button. If you do hit the subscribe button, make sure to also hit that notification bell thing, because if you don't, it won't let you know that I uploaded. Kind of a feature. Past that, like I said, getting the antenna up into the air is going to be its own deal, so that's going to be a separate video. But hopefully at least you enjoyed watching the build, seeing what all goes into building an unknown, a balun, unknown. Sometimes it's hard to keep track of those. So, but yeah, that's about it for today. Hit the like button, subscribe, all of those things if you like what you see, and we'll see you in the next video. 73.